Hey guys, and welcome back to MicroCraftTV. Today I'm going to be doing a Let's Play with the game Terraria. It's available on Steam right now for $2.50 at the time of me making this, which is pretty good. I mean, normally it's $10, but Steam always has those good deals. So I'm just going to be doing a little Let's Play and showing some noobs how to get started, I guess. And plus, I just kind of want to play it. It's a fun game. If you haven't checked it out, there are plenty of videos on YouTube, and I don't know, it might not be for you. It's in a lot of ways it's like Minecraft. Like I was saying this in another video of mine, but it's got a lot of differences too. It's a lot more combat oriented, and there's a lot more weapons and armor and that sort of thing. So for a lot of people, that's a plus. For me, it kind of reminds me of a side-scrolling Zelda, mixed with Metroid, mixed with Minecraft, and it sounds kind of weird, but it turns out to be a lot of fun. So you start off and you make a new world. I had already made a character in a new world. If you had noticed, it said Hyrule, bitches. I was playing Ocarina of Time, and I was feeling quite nostalgic, so I was playing it on the N64, and I don't have an adapter, so I can't upload any of that gameplay footage. But the first thing you're gonna wanna do is cut down a lot of trees. You're gonna need the wood to build a house. Like in Minecraft, building a house is important because there are mobs that spawn at night, and they'll come after you, and you need a place to hold up. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just clearing trees, and I'm clearing a big spot to build a house. And I'm going to start laying the foundation, and I use all wood just because I think it looks better than using, you know, mud or anything like that, dirt, blocks. You can use stone too, but I prefer wood in the beginning. Especially with the wood back panel walls, it looks kind of cool. And there is a lot of decoration that you can do in a game like this. They have, you know, chandeliers that you can make and all sorts of stuff like that. So if that's more your thing, the whole design aspect of Minecraft, then this will be a lot of fun for you too. But I think the combat is really where this shines. Minecraft kind of, you know, it's basically got swords, bows, and that's about it. This has like magical spells and all sorts of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna speed up a bit of this because really all I'm doing is just laying the foundation for my house. It's just a big square block. If I were you, I would put a gap in the floor right there, like I did. That'll come in handy in a little bit. And you're gonna need a 2-block space or a 3-block space at the right there, or the left, and that's going to be for a door. When you open your inventory by pressing escape or Q or whatever hotkey you have it set up as, you'll be able to make some things. What are those called? You'll be able to make a crafting table. But you'll also be able to make a couple of borders, couple of platforms. That's the word I was looking for. And you can put those right where I put my gap there. And when you're building your house, that gap will still count if it has the platforms there. It'll still count as a floor. You can't have gaps in your walls, otherwise it won't count as a house. But those platforms will count, and they'll also allow you to build or to dig underneath your house. And that's nice because it's always, I mean, you'll always come right back to the surface and be right back in your house. I mean, there's a lot of digging in this game, so it helps. What I was doing there is I was building back walls, a door, a table, and a chair. You need all these things to make your house an actual house so that NPCs, non-player characters, will move in. When they move in, there will be additional benefits that come with them moving in. You can buy certain items. For instance, you can get a merchant and you can sell him stuff for gold. I just did a little cut there. That's all the back wall there. But you can get a merchant, you can get an explosives expert, and you can get bombs, which make it easier to demolish terrain, so you can dig deeper. There's all sorts of stuff, but you want to make sure that your house is suitable for them, so you have to have the entire back wall covered. And like I said, you're going to need a lot of wood. You can do this with dirt. You can make dirt walls, and it acts the same way. But I think the wood looks nicer, and honestly, in the beginning, the wood's probably easier to get, just because it's all there, and cutting down one tree gives you, you know, the whole tree's worth of wood. Whereas you'd have to dig each individual block of dirt. You're gonna find later that when you go out exploring, you'll find treasure chests that have items in them. That's what that was. And those jars also will have items, sometimes arrows, sometimes hearts. Definitely always get those if you see them and they're easily accessible, especially when you're starting off. They're almost always gonna have items that you're gonna want. I also took the chest, and you can store things in the chest. You're not gonna want to waste your iron, which you'll get a little bit later. You're not gonna want to waste your iron building chests. So if you come across a chest, you might as well just pick it up, and you can store your items in it later when you put the chest in your house or even underground somewhere. Kill rabbits. And it gets dark, as you can see. I try to keep it lightened up when I'm playing so that you can actually see what's going on, but if it gets a little dark occasionally, I apologize for that. So you're going to want to light up your house a little bit. I'm kind of a OCD person, so if the lanterns don't match up, I get finicky. But I'm going to continue with this back wall. You gotta make sure the entire back wall is covered. You can have a window, and that means that in the back wall, you can have a certain square that is available, and you can place glass on it and stuff like that. For me, I don't like to do that just because it's kind of a pain. Knowing how big or small it is, you have to look it up or keep checking the housing checker. There's a little in-game, there's a little icon that lets you click on it. It's a question mark, and it'll check if your house is an actual house. I'm killing some zombies here. And zombies will drop coins, and coins are very important in the game. You're going to want to get as many of those as you can. But early on, you're pretty vulnerable because your sword can only basically poke outwards. Later, you can get swords that swing over the top of your head, and it's a much wider arc, and thus you're a lot more safe. But here, you can just only poke, and so it's a lot easier for mobs to get a hit on you. And you have very little health, only 100. Whereas in the end, you can have up to 400 health. So I'm just building platforms in my house. That makes it easier to, you know, cover all of the back wall there. And you're probably gonna want to have at least a 3-story house so that you can house your workspace, which is gonna be a furnace, a workbench, and probably an alchemy station, which allows you to brew potions and stuff like that. And then you're gonna want a floor for chests, and then another floor for a chair and a table and maybe some other stuff. But I mean, you're probably gonna want just mostly room for chests because the chests fill up faster than you'd expect. I have one game where I have like 8 chests in a house, and I'm still like running out of room and throwing stuff away often just because I don't use the I don't have enough room for more chests. This is a really important thing to do too, is if you see these stars or you hear these stars. A little bit ago you could have heard a falling star sound. It's important to go and grab those if they're close to your house. Later it's going to be a lot easier to grab them. I'm actually breaking my back door because I don't want to put platforms on my back and deal with that eyeball. Those shooting stars will be able to give you mana. If you collect 10 of them, you can build a blue star, and it'll give you 10 mana. And you can have up to 200 mana, 10 or 20, I can't remember. So there's my house when it's complete, more or less. I still have to put down the chair and the table. But I've got lighting on every floor and 3 stories. The top story is made of wood, so I can't drop down beneath it. I just think that's nice because then you can put lanterns and torches and stuff on that floor, whereas the others, I don't believe you can. The platforms, I don't believe you can. A little strange. It was saying that it wasn't a house, but then one of the NPCs moved in, so it worked out. Killing more zombies. The eyeballs, the zombies in the beginning aren't so bad, but the eyeballs are quite hard to hit. So you're definitely going to want to watch out for those. I kill these zombies pretty easily, but then the eyeball is going to be able to get into my house, and they're not fun. They will be important later for a boss, the first boss that you're probably going to fight. See, with that pokey animation, it's hard to get hits on, you know, enemy that moves kind of sporadically. So what I do is I use the pickaxe, and I'm kind of low on health, so I have to be really careful here. But I use the pickaxe, and since that has an overhand motion where it comes and arcs over the top of your head, makes it easier to kill some enemies, like the eyeballs. That way you don't have to get in, like, its direct pathing course. I almost died there, but I prevailed. I succeeded. I lived. So this house is now officially a house. And zombies will not be able to enter through your door except on something called a blood moon, which I'm sure you'll see eventually while you're playing. And a blood moon, the sky will turn red and the moon will be red, and zombies will be able to break down your doors. And if that's the case, then you might have some problems during the night. That's just a little thing the developers threw in there to make making a fortress a little bit more difficult. But the better your items are, the easier blood moons become. And they're really never a big problem. Now I'm throwing down my chest so that I'm going to be able to put stuff in it. I thought the lanterns were blocking it, so I was trying to put it right up against the wall, but I guess you can't do that. Oh, and one thing I forgot to add about the stars. This is what I was talking about with digging underground. But one thing I forgot to add about the stars is that they disappear during the daytime, so you're only going to be able to collect them at night. So why I was saying earlier that you should collect the ones that are near your house. That's important, because if you try and stray too far, you'll probably get killed. The ones near your house, you don't really need any armor or anything, and you can get them pretty easily. So I believe now I'm going to go explore a little bit. Now that my house is all set up. Fighting some slimes. Killing some slimes. Slimes drop they drop an item that allows you to make torches. You need wood and the gel that slimes drop. And torches are, they're really easy to make. A lot easier than Minecraft. You, I believe 1 piece of wood and 1 gel makes like 4 torches. And, you need a lot fewer torches in this game than you do in Minecraft. But now, I believe I spotted some iron, so I'm digging down underneath there to get that iron. That's one of the early materials that you're going to be able to use to build certain weapons and armor. Copper is the even earlier stage that's like crappier. But if you can find iron, you might as well just get that because it skips a whole step of getting copper armor first. And I think I luck out pretty easily in this video because I find quite a bit of copper while I'm hunting around. But there's one of those chests that are topside, like I was talking about, surrounded by some pots. And those are going to have some useful items. Like that. That's a blowpipe that allows you to use seeds as weapons. There are chests randomly scattered. Everything in this game is randomly created. And so there are chests just all over the place on the surface. And some of them will have, you know, iron bars. Some will have good weapons that you'll want to grab. Others will have lesser stuff, maybe just a potion or two and some various items. I'm building a little staircase here so it's easier for me to get up later when I come back. And it's kind of important to do something like that, otherwise it just makes it harder to get around later. If you're gonna go explore on the surface and find more pots, you might as well just do it now. And you can't build around sunflowers, which is kind of weird, or you can't build through sunflowers, which is kind of weird. But you can cut them down. I just wasn't taking the time to bother. And like I said, slimes won't give you much trouble. But if you're not careful, your health can get pretty low pretty fast. There's another chest. Yeah, so I got a trident. That's a little, or a spear. That's a little bit better than the sword I'm currently using. And tridents will also let you hit a few times when you're attacking an enemy instead of just once like the sword will. Lots of pots, lots of arrows, some torches. Nifty stuff. Soundtrack of this game will get stuck in your head pretty easily. They did a nice job with it. It feels very retro. I mean, obviously with the graphics, but everything about it seems just like an older game. But the controls are very concise. When you die, it feels like it's your fault, not like some trap that you weren't able to see. You just, you know, you were unprepared, or you didn't fight hard enough, or use your potions at the right time. So it's nice. It's a very concise game, and when you win, it's like you feel like you deserve to win, and when you lose, you feel kind of like you deserve to lose. You know, you weren't strong enough or didn't have the right items. It feels very fair. So right now I'm just killing slimes. There's some copper over there that I'm gonna get in a little bit. That copper, whoa, I think I used it to make a pickaxe or something like that. It's probably important to build pickaxes and axes and hammers with iron as soon as you can, because the iron is more durable than the copper, and it's the better pickaxe you get sooner, the faster you can get better materials. And this is all about, you know, getting the best stuff. So I get some of that copper, and I keep exploring. I think I find a little bit of iron in there too. Oh, maybe not. Killing more slimes. Oh yeah. And there's another chest down there. I'm gonna pick that up. I had already gotten the contents out, but I just wanted to grab the chest because I forgot to get it before. There's more copper. And certain items will be able to, you'll be able to make decorations with them too. I think silver and iron and gold are more so the decorative ores as opposed to copper and harder to find ores, which you'll get later. But you can make things like chandeliers and just all sorts of cool stuff. But if you don't want to do that, obviously you don't have to. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all. It doesn't affect the combat or anything. That's just if you want to make a cool looking house, you can still do that. I think in the trailer for the most recent update, they built like this giant tree house, and that looked pretty sweet. I kind of want to do that. They have like vines hanging out all over the place. And it's nifty. I found a little bit more iron, I believe. Yep. So I've got a fair amount of iron now, and it seems to be working out for me pretty well. When you're going around on the surface, I wouldn't recommend immediately trying to dig down just in a flat area. I'd explore caves first, because caves are going to have a lot of iron and copper, which you're looking for early on. Plus, they're usually going to have chests and pots, which you also want to find early on for easy weaponry and sometimes even, iron bars or copper bars. If you start digging down right away, you're probably going to dig through a lot of dirt and then reach a place where there's like a lot of water. And then there is oxygen in this, so you can drown. So you kind of get, screwed over pretty easily, and you don't find that much iron that way. Besides, it's more fun exploring the surface and killing slimes and stuff along the way. Or getting killed by slimes, if you're me. And there are also different biomes, kind of like Minecraft. You'll enter a new biome and the background will change. See, it went from the foresty regions to this desert, mountainy regions. And you can see there are cactuses and hawks or whatever those are, falcons. Birdies. Yeah, they're birdies. So you can kill those and get more coins. And there are different monsters for different biomes. So in the jungle biome, there will be bees. In the desert biome, there will be falcons or hawks or whatever those are. Birds of prey. There's a lot of slimes in the foresty regions, but those can be pretty much anywhere. They spawn a lot of slimes since you use the gel for torches, but in the end you end up with so much gel that you don't really need it. But you can build a flamethrower later, which uses the gel as a fuel, so that's kind of cool. The developers made it so that even in the late game, the items that you get early on are still useful. Which is frustrating with a game sometimes when especially like an RPG, when you'll get a unique item that's really good early on, but in the end, like, you just never end up using it because it's just not worth it. You have better stuff. Like in Metroid games, certain missiles or freeze missiles or whatever, you just never end up using them because you've got like the super laser death beam of rape and shit. I think I found some more iron there, or copper. Vines will also obscure your line of sight, so if you put a torch down, it'll make it harder to see if there are vines surrounding it, and vines do grow back. You can put stone around a grassy area, and vines won't grow from there. Like, they only come down from the ceiling, from the roof of the cave. So if you put blocks of stone around it, the vines won't grow. But that's kind of a pain, and a lot of times I just skip that and just use the torches to see, and then if I come back, I'll just clear out the vines again. It's not hard to do or anything. Finding more stuff. Searching more caves. So I found earlier, I found an aglet, which allows you to move a little bit quicker. And there are a lot of accessories that are just passive items. They'll work automatically and you won't have to really do anything. Those are really useful. I like to put those, I like to use those myself as opposed to, actually I think most of them are passive. I don't think there are really any active ones. Because anything active that you would use would be up in the bar there. But they're always useful. The sooner you find something like that, the better off you're gonna be, and you should equip it right away. Because they're always useful. You don't really ever get anything bad from those. As you can see, it's starting to get nighttime again, so I think I start heading back soon. That's a cave, though, so I don't know what I'm doing. And the corresponding numbers at the top allow you to use your items like hotkeys. So you can put your item in the first slot, and then you can me gusta. You can put your item in like the first slot and then hit 1, and then your item will come up. So that's pretty nifty. So I'm just running home now before it gets dark, but I think it turns to night before yeah, it's definitely gonna be night before I get home. Especially since I'm wasting my time fighting falcons or whatever. And so the zombies are gonna come and the eyes will come out. And later on, you will be able to, even bosses will be able to come out at night, and you won't really be able to do anything. They just will randomly appear if you don't kill them soon enough. So you'll definitely want to be by your house when it turns night, when you're just starting a new game. Otherwise you'll get killed really easily. I think I make it back without dying, but that's just because my voice cracks like a boss. Like a mouse. That's the noise that you will hear when a star falls. It sounds like a lot of them are falling, but usually only one will fall. Sometimes you can find a lot of them like right in a row, but around your house or around your point of around where you spawn, you're probably not going to find very many. And always keep your stars, even if you have maximum mana, because later you can make an item called a star cannon, and that's just, I mean, that's just fucking awesome. You can shoot stars. You can shoot stars at people in the face, and it's pretty sweet. There's my, there's me killing eyeballs. It's actually a lot easier to kill the enemies now that I have that spear. That first sword makes it pretty hard, but that spear is a lot more efficient. And you can see it hitting the enemies multiple times. It'll go through their bodies, I guess, and hit them, I think, for every like half a second that it's hitting the hitbox of the unit, then it'll count as a damage point. And I got in safely. So that's basically just how you start out in Terraria. It's a fun game. If you don't have it, I'd pick it up on Steam. And I'll see you guys later.